Reptiles are not dumb animals that only love you for food. These animals can bond with you too, but these 5, they'll create a bond like no other reptile ever could. Generally, when you watch reptile behavioral videos or videos about reptiles, the best ones that'll bond with you, it always boils down to they're kind of brainless, food-eating monsters that only love you for warmth and heat, and which are the same thing, and food. And it's really not the case. The more we learn about science, the more we learn that a lot of these animals can create bonds, recognize your face, and these 5 are the best for that. Starting off with number 5. Iguanas, obviously. This is Doug. This is a full-grown male iguana. Now, I say full-grown even though he's kind of stunted. He didn't really have the best life growing up. He went through many, many homes, and then now, all of a sudden, he's in a really great home where he spends half the year outside in a summer home, but he's inside until May. Sorry about that, buddy. I will say that this is number 5 for a reason. Most people should not own an iguana, especially a male iguana. Males go through a puberty phase where they become rather aggressive in some instances. Now, this isn't all the time, but you have to be ready for this. So this animal, although it's on the list of best bonding animals, which is true, that doesn't mean that it's on the best pet reptile list, period. There's a few of those down the list. Much in the same way that a golden retriever or a Belgian Malinois can be a fantastic dog, it just isn't for most families or for most people. And iguanas are very much the same way. I love Doug. He's awesome. I love handling him. He's the most fun. And we've created a bond. I can take him out and it's really easy. I open up the enclosure inside and he jumps right onto me. Literally, I opened the enclosure, my hand wasn't even off of it yet, and he already jumped on me. And in his outside enclosure, which is massive, I can walk into it. Where are you going? It's a microphone. You can't eat it. You can't eat it. No, ow. Anyway, in his summer home, I can walk into it and he comes to me immediately. Now, is most of this because he probably thinks he's being fed? Yeah, probably. But that's not the only reason. He likes the affection. He likes getting pet. He likes when you scratch under his chin and his dewlap. This is an animal that maybe wants to roam around and move around, but isn't trying to struggle away from you because he feels unsafe or he's defensive. Nothing like that. This animal loves human interaction, and I truly do believe it's not just for food or warmth, because it's enrichment. In the same way that for a lot of your enclosures, you want to change up how the sticks are oriented, or adding different plants or substrates or feeding logs or whatever. Same thing when you handle animals. The smart ones like iguanas want to be around you and want that interaction because it's different than inside their enclosure. Especially if you live in a place like I do where the 2,700 gallon enclosure is for the summer only, and in the winter he's got something smaller. No. Okay, with that, I'm gonna put him back because now I'm bleeding everywhere in the light. I'll be right back. All right, Doug's back home. Obviously, if you can, a Fiji banded iguana would be much better and can create bonds also. Literally jumped out of the cage at me, but anyway, let's move on to number 4. Oh, and I truly am bleeding, like literally my entire arm. Now, that's not because Doug is dangerous. That's because Doug wanted to climb on the light and it was the closest thing, and he's just using natural instincts, and I need to trim his nails probably, so that's on me. Anyway, another animal that's going to want to climb everywhere, but has a fantastic disposition and really can bond with you, monitors, and they have insane claws too. Now, I'll be specific here because most of my expertise, or I guess experience anyway, is with tree monitors. I love tree monitors and arboreal monitors especially. Now, I think this works with a lot of monitors. I think that, for example, Nile monitors are really intelligent. They have a crazy range almost all over Africa. They're variable, they're easy to keep in terms of parameters, but they're probably not going to create the same bond with you that something like a lace monitor or a tree monitor would. Tree monitors are, in my opinion, one of the most intelligent reptiles, period. All monitors are really intelligent, but there is kind of a gamut or tier system. For example, black throat, white throat monitors, Monitors are really cool, but probably not on the peak of intelligence, savanna monitors, that sort of thing. And then there's things like crocodile monitors, which are so unbelievably intelligent. I'm talking facial recognition. They are incredible animals, but maybe one of the worst, if not the worst pet lizard for most people. So in between there, tree monitors. They're a reasonable size. They come in all different colors. I mean, these things are like the jewel of the trees in Indonesia. Do you want a yellow one? Do you want a black one? Do you want a blue one? Do you want a green one? There are so many different ones, 6 species in total that you can keep in captivity, and I've got 3 of them. In fact, this new enclosure here, it's for a tree monitor. It's coming. Just hit subscribe. It'll be next week. Not only do they recognize your face, but they recognize behaviors and time schedules. So not like on a watch. They're not like, well, it's 1/4 feeding time. Not like that. But they'll be able to know during certain parts of the day, right? Lights go on at the same time every day, gives them a baseline of when the day begins, and you come in 2 or 3 hours later, well, now they know it's time for spraying or feeding or whatever it is that you do on that schedule. And as you create a bond with your lizard, that lizard will then come out at that time. I come down here almost the same time every day, and Stitch is just waiting for me, chilling out, knowing that she's gonna get fed or at least splashed with a little bit of water. Now, these aren't the easiest animals to have a bond with. It does take some time, some skill, and definitely some patience. But look at guys like Diane at Reptiles. He got baby monitors and it's taken him years, but now they'll jump out for food. They seem to really love him as a person, which, I mean, who doesn't? Dion's the best. But that's what we're trying to do with my monitors too. I want these animals to be able to jump out at me for food. We're not quite there. They'll eat off tongs. It's really fun, but they stay in the enclosure. This is something that I still feel more of a bond than the day that I got them, but not quite where I want to be, and it does take time. So just be consistent with them. Make sure they have a positive interaction every time when you put them back. Make sure it's on a positive note, not a negative note, and you're gonna have an animal that is not only beautiful and super intelligent, but it's gonna bond with you and seem to really like the interaction with you too. And it is fun to handle these monitors all the time, but the feeding and the watering and the scheduling, that's the part that can be kind of tricky, unless you have something like today's sponsor, Husbandry Pro. I have a lot of animals, you guys know that, and it's really easy for me to take care of them all because Husbandry Pro sends out feeding notifications. I can print QR codes and put them on the labels. When I buy an animal from somebody who has Husbandry Pro, they can literally just transfer over the information, like sending an iPhone contact. It's amazing. I signed up originally because under 6 animals is always free, and I'm like, I'll try it out, see how it goes. And what got me was it's really user-friendly, easy, and super helpful, and I can't imagine going without it now. But also the customer service is amazing. If you have a bug or a problem, email them, and in my case, it got fixed almost immediately. Plus, Husbandry Pro is now part of Reptile Ads, a new platform for buying and selling reptiles. None of the fluff, just what you're actually there for if you're looking to buy or sell a reptile. These aren't auctions, it's a marketplace. Connect with other keepers and even look at supplies to and from, enclosures and other things. And of course, it integrates directly with Husbandry Pro. So if you're looking for a better way to keep track of your reptiles, Husbandry Pro is the answer. I was a client before I was sponsored, and there's a link below just for you. Number 3, big snakes, particularly reticulated pythons and Burmese pythons. If you watch the channel, you already know I personally like Burmese pythons a lot better than reticulated pythons, but I will say reticulated pythons are smarter and can create a bond that might be driven a lot by food. And keep in mind, these animals are gonna be different. I'm not putting them number 3 because they're better than iguanas or tree monitors. In fact, they don't belong at 3. I just wanted to put a snake in the middle of the list. But they will follow you around. They'll chill with you. There's lots of videos out there of Burmese pythons or reticulated pythons just kind of sitting there on the couch, exploring slowly and just being really calm and having a great experience with their owners. Don't jump on my face. And you can do this with both species. I just personally think, well, first of all, it's a lot easier and less time consuming with Burmese pythons. Burmese pythons are a lot more predictable in my experience, and I like them better. I make this comparison, I'll do it again. Do you like German Shepherds or do you like Golden Retrievers? Personally, I like Golden Retrievers. I've had 2 of them. I currently have 1. I love this animal. Josephine, if there was a brain-eating amoeba, it would starve to death with Josephine for sure. But I like that. Obviously, I'm kidding, but she's just kind of dopey and chill and just always wants to get pet and attention and love. She's not on like high alert, where reticulated pythons are. They have an insane food drive. I had them for several years. I prefer Burms. Once you get them out of the enclosure, it's kind of like chill. Not saying that you don't have to be careful, you do, it's an animal. But when I come in the room, my Burmese python follows me around, and not just for food. Literally, I'll open up the enclosure, no food response. He'll move around a bunch, but I'll just sit on the couch and he'll just sit there and not move for a long time. Number 2, Tegus. I'm gonna use black and white Tegus here as the example because that's what I keep. I have a black and white Tegu, now full grown, a beautiful animal, and hyper intelligent. There's a reason that animals like Mushu here are often compared to dogs. They're kind of like scaly dogs in the way that they act and interact with their humans. Bonus, they can actually raise their own temperature, which most reptiles can't. Now, this is a whole sciencey talk for another day. I can do a video on this if you want, but they're just unique to every other species of reptile, or most species of reptile. They do have some sort of facial recognition, maybe not to the extent of, say, like a monitor, but they are kind of the best in terms of just chilling out. Now, there's that guy on Instagram and YouTube and stuff and Facebook who has his black dragon and kind of climbs all over him and that whole thing. But this is kind of like a standalone, where with Tegus, it's pretty common to see pages that are dedicated to Tegus being kind of like puppy dogs and just roaming around the house. Not that I recommend free roaming with reptiles in your house. Your house is probably 72 degrees, which isn't warm enough for Tegus. Now, keep in mind with Tegus, oftentimes if you take them outside like a dog, they will see light spectrums differently than humans, and they can become rather defensive or in some cases kind of aggressive like ours. So we don't take ours outside, but as long as she's inside, she's totally fine. Mushu is a peach. Ow. Oh, you got right under my nail. Okay, we're gonna put you back. She's smart, she's inquisitive, she's easy to handle, she's big, which is great too. And something you've probably noticed with this list is it's a lot of really big animals that for most people don't work unless you're lucky enough to be able to get a Fiji banded iguana, in which case watch this video right here because they are the coolest lizard on earth, just unfortunately not able to have one in the United States. So for number 1, we're gonna choose a smaller animal that basically everybody can keep. Before that, Tegus also have problem solving ability, which is really, really interesting. Not to the extent of like a parrot or a toddler, but I mean, it is pretty impressive. Anyway, number 1, the smallest on the list, and something that basically everybody can own, Schneider skinks. I know I used to talk about them a lot, and I still do to a certain extent. Man, it won't stop bleeding. And admittedly, I don't really spend as much time with them as I used to just because I'm putting so much work into socializing the monitors. But yesterday, my wife was feeding them or watering them or whatever she was doing with them, and they just both jumped out at her. She's like, babe, come look. I'm like, yeah, that's what they do. That's why I love them. That's why I'll never get rid of them. I love these animals, and it's a bond where you can go away for a month and then come home and they'll still be bonded with you, where a lot of different animals really need that reoccurring treatment. These animals don't. And it's not just for food. I think it's just because they want to climb on things. Even if you give them a pretty tall enclosure, it's not going to be as tall as you, most likely, unless you build enclosures like this, because they're all taller than me, but that's different. Every time I open my Schneider skink enclosure, they end up on the top of my head. They just absolutely love it. Zero fear at all. Some animals, you'll come up to the glass or the door of their enclosure and they're kind of like, I'm not quite sure about this guy. Handling is important to me with most animals. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like, the chondros and emerald tree boas and things like that are display animals only. And to a certain extent, the tree monitors can be, but an animal that you can go in and handle whenever you want and never have to worry about getting bit, clawed, scratched, literally still bleeding from Doug. These are them. They have little claws that help them climb, but they're not going to scratch you. They feel kind of weird, like a hamster claw, basically. They're not going to try and bite you, or at least I've never seen that happen. And when they eat like raptors. Like, these are the coolest skinks on the planet, mostly terrestrial, so you don't need a huge enclosure for them. You can have them in pairs pretty easily. They like it hot, they like it pretty dry. It's really, Schneider skinks might be the perfect pet reptile, and if you want to bond with them, I promise you it'll be a bond unlike any small lizard you've ever had. Let me know in the comment section below what you think the best bonding animal is for you. I want to hear your personal stories and anecdotes in the comments below.